Hi everybody, right, the Home Cakery Coach, I'm Janine Ogden. This video is all about markets, right? This is a subject really close to my heart. I was a Doncaster market trader for about 5 years, and before that I did various food festivals and farmers markets and things like that. I absolutely love it. So I've got loads of experience, and there's a lot of things that like I wish I'd known before I started doing them. So that's what I want to give on to you. Right. So what the thing I really want to get into your head is doing a market, having a store somewhere. It's not just about what you sell on the day. Obviously, it's brilliant if you can clear your table, but for me, it was always more about the marketing. Um, if someone comes up to you and they love what they buy off you, and all they've got is a paper bag, they want more of your product, but they don't know where to go to get it. So every single customer, right, needs to know where to find you. Um, for for example, I always say for example, don't I? When I did a food festival in Doncaster, and it was actually just outside the Corn Exchange, and my cake shop at the time was inside the Corn Exchange. So one of the butchers at the end of the day said, every time I stepped outside, all I could hear was Janine's gob. And it is right, I proper had my banter on. Every single customer, I was saying to them, right, this is going to be the best fruitcake you've ever tasted, because all I had were fruitcakes. When you like it, if you want some more, if you enter Corn Exchange through that door, stay along left hand side, I'm there, you'll find me, you'll see me, because I've got loads of fruitcakes piled up everywhere. I sold other things other than fruitcakes, but I'll explain why in a minute. But at that particular market, all I had on the store were fruitcakes. So just make sure everyone knows where to find you. Give them some business cards, some flyers, have branded stickers. Everything's got, if it's got your social media on, that's what people that's people, they're not really gonna like, oh, I'll have a look at the website, because, people like to nosy on social media. They'll follow your page, they'll find out next time you're going to be somewhere, or if you can post something to them, or you might live around corner from them. So make sure every single person that buys something from you knows where to get more and how to get more. Right. A massive part of it, you've got to look the part. Even if you've got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you were baking until midnight, look presentable. People buy from people. If you're behind your table looking scruffy, hairs all over, they're gonna be like, You think, if people expect to, when you go to a sandwich shop, you expect that person who's serving you to have their hair tied back, to wear gloves, to look clean and tidy. It's exactly the same type of service. It don't matter if it's outdoors, they're not all outdoors, but you do need to look the part. So tie your hair up, wear a nice clean apron, take a spare apron in case that one gets mucky. Just the most important thing is just wear a smile, right? Even if you've been on your feet for 8 hours and you're knackered and you're miserable, don't stand behind counter being at that, because they're not going to want to approach you. You look like a miserable cow. Do you know what I mean? If you go in a shop and staff are like, you don't, markets are all about the buzz. You need to get your banter on. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, get yourself over here. Come and taste some of this. Really, it's a real person thing. They've got to like you as well as the cakes. It might be the best cake they've ever tasted, but if they got served by a miserable cow, they're not going to come back. It's as simple as that. Paint on that smile, your customer service smile, dead behind the eyes. We're all, years of customer service, this smile is completely fake. Just do it. It's all about you. You're going to be knackered at the end of it, but it's a brilliant experience, and it's amazing marketing for your business. And if you make money on day, that's brilliant as well. Take a stool. Massive advice. Take a frigging stool, right? Because your feet are going to kill, especially if it's cold and, your back will hurt. So wear comfy shoes as well. At the minute, since COVID, I think everyone's a lot more hygiene aware. And whereas in the past, I used to love going to a farmer's market and everything was just piled up. you ask for one of them and they'd get the tongs and stick it in a bag and it were all brilliant. I feel like now, I think people are going to want more individually wrapped items. It might not be how you want to do things. Do things how you want. But for me, in my heart, I think if I did a market now, I'd want everything to be individually wrapped. I think it's just what people are expecting. And even if things are wrapped, if you're still serving things into little paper bags with tongs, wearing gloves, that I think that is brilliant. You know, that's really gonna give people confidence in you. So that's something that has changed a little bit post-COVID, during COVID. So, you know, yeah, be very aware how people are so aware of hygiene nowadays. Another thing I'd say to you, take a friend, right? Either it could be a teenage kid, it might be a partner, it might be a sister. What I found, I had a sandwich shop and I used to do farmers markets alongside it, and my sister worked and my sister worked in the shop and she used to bring more stock round for me if I got low and what have you. What we realised is while we stood chattering behind counter, or even better if she stood at the other side of the table, I keep saying counter, it's not a counter when you're on an outdoor market, is it? If she stood the other side of the table and we were chattering, more people would approach. Because if someone's literally stood there to attention, waiting for you to approach, you think, oh, I'm going to get a sales pitch and they're going to come at me and make me buy stuff. It's easier to approach if the person who's serving, you can just, you'll see them, they'll just kind of slide in and have a quick nosy at what you're doing. And when they hear that you're chattery and having a laugh and stuff, they feel drawn to you. It's a human thing, that is a massive thing that we learned, and it's something we always kind of did. What else? What other advice we're having? Tell all of your followers that you're going to be there, because a lot of people will see you on Facebook, but it seems a big deal placing a special order. Whereas if they know they can just try a little bit or something, a single portion or something, they'll come to you, they'll come and find you. And if they like it, then they might put an order in for a fruitcake, for a birthday cake. I've got fruitcakes in my head because I'm going to tell you my fruitcake story. Right. So what products do you take? Right. It's brilliant if you can find out from the organisers what other stalls are there. Because a lot of them will just say cake stall, cake stall, cake stall. Some of them will be really careful about having too many of a certain type of stall. For example, when I did my fruitcake stall at the food festival in Doncaster, I found out from the organisers there were already a lady doing a lot of chocolate stuff. She did brownies and everything. She were actually next to me as well. So if I'd have took brownies and stuff, I'd have been buggered, because those were really good, and I didn't do many brownies at that point. So there were a chocolate stall next to me. I think there were a cupcake stall across from me, and there was I don't know if there was somebody else doing cookies. There were another bakery stall. So based on that, looking at what my products were, if you're just selling one particular product, then the customers looking at you will think, well, they must be really good then. If they've got a full stall of fruitcakes, of brownies, they must be really good at fruitcakes or brownies. And it just seems to go better. I don't know why. It's some psychological thing, but I had an amazing, that was probably one of my best event days ever, just selling fruitcakes. I was slicing them up on my chopping board there and then with my bread knife and selling them bite slice. I was cutting them in half if they wanted some. I was giving out I'll come to tasters. Tasters, right. I was giving out tasters to the ones who seem genuinely interested. I've got it further down my list of notes to talk about tasters, but they went brilliantly, and because I was telling them all where to find me, they came back following week and bought some from me inside the market as well. So I think when you decide what to take, are they just wanting a snack while they're walking around browsing? Is it a Saturday afternoon market, and are they going to want a nice treat for Saturday night, when they're sat watching films with kids? If it's a Sunday morning, do they want something I used to sell crumbles in foil trays, and they were fresh baked that morning, and they'd take them and they'd have them for the pudding after the Sunday dinner. So think about what the event is and what the type of customers are that are going to that market and what you can sell to them. Some of them, if it's a farmer's market, They just want to buy loads of like homemade artisan treats just for at home, and they'll buy tons of stuff. So, really do think about what they want. I did the Christmas light switch on outside Doncaster Market a good few years back now. And I thought, they're not going to want to be buying. There were a lot of gift stores and stuff, and they did terribly because people, they don't go to a Christmas light switch on to do the Christmas shopping. They go for the event, for the switch on, for the entertainment. So what do they want? They just want a bit of something, a nice treat while they're walking around. So I did about 200 cookies, absolutely cleared out. And I couldn't, where I did my fruitcake thing of telling everyone where to find me, I couldn't even physically do that because it was so busy. It was literally bang, 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 getting these cookies out. Absolutely brilliant. And it's because I tapped into what they want at that time. I think there were very few that actually took them home to eat. They were eating them for a nibble while, they just had a hot dog, now they fancied a bit of something sweet. So it worked really well. So that's a massive bit of advice I give you. Just know who the customers are going to be. Know what other traders are going to be there. Right, your display. It needs to be kept clean. It needs to be organised. Don't have plates dotted all around with all different products on. Try and, have all your cupcakes together, have all your cookies together. You need your labelling sorted. Put my teeth in. Right. Labelling is a whole other training video. There's a lot to your labelling. So be aware of that. At the very least, if you're just packaging to order, each product needs a sign on the front saying what it is, what your allergens are in it, and obviously the price is always useful as well. So what I'd say in terms of your display, keep it to, don't have all your crap on corner or back at table. It looks terrible. All your table should have on it is your products, your little signs saying what your products are, business cards or flyers, maybe a little bit of packaging. Certainly don't keep a cash box on the table. That's I once did a farmer's market and someone had the box stolen and it was awful, absolutely awful. So yeah, keep your cash box out of sight. That's one that I ain't got on my list, but it's just come to me. So all your crap needs to be at the back, underneath your table, out of sight, keeping this impression of being clean and hygienic and everything. Sneeze screen, right? I'm going to tell you a story. When I first I had two different premises in Doncaster Market, and the first stall that I had was quite open. And to begin with, I didn't have my sneeze screens built. It took a few months to get them built. There was one incident that made me realise, in fact, there were two, I'm going to tell you another one as well, made me realise that I really needed to get these screens, because it's not just about like people talking and spitting over the food. Someone once bought something off me. While I was packaging, she was getting a purse out of a bag. She put her handbag down, right? And don't think of this as an isolated incident, because I know 100 stories from 100 different market traders where these things have happened, right? She actually put I had a tray of I had all my food on my trays, all neat and tidy. I've got a tray of flapjacks, and she actually sat her handbag on top of the open flapjacks while she dug a purse out. And I couldn't even say anything to her, because I was like, how do we even deal with this? And it was just like, try and calm myself down, try and not grab her by the throat and shake her a bit, because that had been, they don't like that. But I had to bin this entire tray of flapjacks. There were another time I had a banana cake, and it was cut into slices ready, and someone came up and she was squeezing these slices of banana cake. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you touching all my cake? Well, I'm just checking how soft it is. I don't want to buy it if it's hard, if it's been stood out here all day. I'm like, could you just ask me how long it's been there for? Or if you really don't trust me, don't buy it. But you've just touched 3 slices of banana cake. Yeah, but it looks nice. And then she actually said, I'll have that one there. It looks a bit bigger. And I'm like, what about these 3 that you've just touched? And in end, she agreed and realised what she'd done and bought. She bought these. Honestly, don't underestimate. People are absolute bastards. People are. I maybe shouldn't swear in between it. Oh, it's who I am. You take me as your phone. Right. More advice. I've done the sneeze screens. Right. I'm out of stock to take. Pile it high, watch it fly. Right. That works. You've got this abundant stall. People will love it. Right. However, I'm just watching my clock ticking here. I'm way over my 10 minutes, aren't I? It only flies down to a certain level. So make sure you've got stock that is freezable, that has a good shelf life, because you need to have a backup plan for if you don't sell everything. So use your freezer. Make sure your labelling's right. I've already covered that, and labelling will be a full extra training as well. Right, tasters. The last topic, tasters. Don't just stick a plate full of tasters. There's a known thing in food farmers markets circles, right, about plate clearers, sample munchers, right? People will take a bit, they'll do a lap, they'll come and take some more. They'll do a lap, they'll put some sunglasses on, they'll come and take some more. They'll take 2 or 3 pieces at a time, right? They're never gonna buy from you. Keep your samples hidden, not just at the back of the table, but actually hidden. So if someone appears to be genuinely interested, here, have a taste. As soon as you get that plate out, you'll get swooped on, right? Because everybody loves a free sample. Don't just give out a ton of tasters. It'll cost you a fortune, and most of them won't come back. I had one guy on Doncaster Market every week. Oh, I haven't tried that one. Can I have a little taste of that one? Because I did 6 different fruitcakes. And then he'd start working his way back through flavours again. I'm like, you've tried that one? Oh, I can't remember. Can I have another bit? And every week he'd say, and I'll tell my wife about this, and she'll put an order in. And at one, I got to a point where I gave him like a dozen tasters, and I'm like, have you told your wife yet? Because this ordering, and they were all like, he right took them, pretty like, what? I'm like, well, you've ate probably about a fiver's worth of fruitcake off me now. You're obviously not going to buy some. Remember, you can get away with banter on markets. Say anything as long as you laugh when you say it. But yeah, that is markets. I think I've covered it. I've gone way over my 10 minutes. I'm sorry. And I think my time is about to run out, and this video is about to cut off as well. So hope you've got something from that. Ask me anything. I've done tons and tons. I've got tons of experience on this. Ask me anything, and I'll give you advice as best as I can. I think my voice is going. I'm checking off. See you later.